Welcome to Scrapbook My Life, where I tell you an embarrassing story to save you from making the same embarrassing mistakes I did.
Something about turning 13 makes you feel totally indestructible. It's not just the teen on the end of your age now, it's that you've been hearing about cool teenagers your whole life and finally, that's you. It's the proof that in a few short years, you'll be driving. It feels like everything changes when you turn 13, but it turns out some things don't. My birthday's in May, so a few short weeks after I turned 13, I was on my way back to sleepaway camp for the summer. I couldn't wait to go back to camp, now that I was officially a teenager. Maybe Dylan, that cute boy who was a year above me, would finally think that I was cool and grown up now. When the bus finally pulled up to camp, I practically leapt out. I grabbed my stuff and headed to my bunk to see all my camp friends for the first time in a whole year. That's when I remembered that they were all still 12. That meant that I had to show them a thing or two about being 13. After we settled in, the counselors all hustled us out of the bunks and into the amphitheater. It was time for the camp kickoff meeting. Everything had that fresh feeling of the start of summer. The camp director got up and made his first announcements. This year, the cafeteria was finally gonna have chocolate milk. Awesome, I love chocolate milk. The archery range was finally open. Awesome, I loved archery. And there was a new rule. This year, we were absolutely prohibited from having food in our bunks. I saw Dylan roll his eyes from across the amphitheater. He was right, that was a bad rule. Midnight granola bars were one of my favorite parts of camp. I was gonna show Dylan that I was 13 now. I didn't have to listen to silly camp rules. I had a plan. I had taken a bunch of granola bars from my parents' pantry before I left. I split the granola bars up among all my friends who were willing to help me sneak them into the bunk. It was the perfect plan. But that night, before lights out, the counselors went around and asked each of us if we had any food in the bunk. All my friends folded right away. They all sheepishly gave up their snacks. I was sad to lose all those granola bars, but I should have seen this coming. My friends were still 12. They didn't know how it was done. When the counselors asked me, I confidently told them I didn't have any food in my bag. In fact, I wouldn't dream of it. They totally bought it. As soon as the counselors left and turned out the lights, I silently opened one of my granola bars and ate it in bed. It tasted even better than usual. Then, tired after a long first day of camp, I totally zonked out. I was dead asleep. Until I felt something. Furry? Did I dream the furry thing? I opened my eyes, looked down, and screamed. I didn't dream it. It was a raccoon. And not just one raccoon, but 3 raccoons. My scream woke up everyone in the bunk. They all saw the raccoons. Now everyone in the bunk started screaming. The counselors ran in just in time to see 2 of the raccoons scurry out, while one brave raccoon grabbed a granola bar out of my bag. My secret stash had been exposed. I apologized to the counselors and gave them the rest of my granola bars. The next day at breakfast, I finally got Dylan's attention, but not exactly in the way that I had wanted. He asked if I really was the reason all those raccoons got into the bunk. He'd heard the story, but he didn't believe it. For the rest of that summer, I made sure that nobody brought in even the smallest crumb into our bunk. Sometimes it takes wild animals to show you that rules are there for a reason, and you really should follow them, even if you are 13 now.